Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Zack Snyder and how he apparently is never going to do Star Wars because he thinks it's going to be too much of a hassle. And also, he was worried that Warner Brothers was going to sue him for supporting the Snyder Cut fans. So this might explain some of the weirdness around his appearance on the live streams. Not that it's... in my opinion, excusable that he kind of, threw fans under the bus. But...
I didn't think it was as bad as people said, but I also figured he was being told to say it. But this to me seems like, okay, so I kissed up to Warner Brothers, and then they announced I'm not getting my Snyderverse, and now I'm like, oh crap, I pissed all those people off, so now I gotta backpedal and be like, I was on your side the whole time, I swear.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds. I mean, I could be off base completely, but that's somebody outside looking in. That's kind of what it sounds like.
So the Snyderverse is basically done at this point because, look, Warner just announced yesterday, the day before on Henry Cavill's birthday, that
it was yesterday.
They were going to move ahead with Black Superman. They're going to reboot. It's not going to be Elseworld Superman. It's not going to be President Superman, but it's going to be J.J. Abrams producing, but not directing, producing a reboot of Clark Kent.
Basically just to cover up the fact that they're being accused of racism, I think.
Probably.
But, hey.
Probably. So Zack Snyder, his Snyderverse is basically done. We don't know what he's going to do after this, but it does seem like he's trying to backpedal a little bit walk it back a little bit with the fans. And he also said Star Wars is not on his to-do list because it sounds like a colossal pain in the ass.
Yeah, can you blame him?
Well, how many directors has Kathleen Kennedy chewed up and spit out?
Yeah, they keep having all these movies and then
creative differences.
Yes, it was always creative differences, and it's not just her. Disney Plus. For the longest time, we kept seeing shows go by the wayside. Creative differences.
Yeah, I mean there have been so many, and they were decent directors too that got gone. Colin Trevorrow got pushed out of episode 9. Actually, his take on it sounds like it would have worked out better than Rise of Skywalker. And then we had, Phil Lord got pushed out of Solo, and they're just all over the place. So yeah, I wouldn't want to go into that situation.
No, and then we saw the whole thing going on with Favreau trying. Actually, people like his stuff.
Yeah,
and they're fighting him tooth and nail apparently.
Yeah.
So, or at least it seems. So I wouldn't want to step in that either. I'd be like, oh, no, not touching that 10-foot pole.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 187,000 subs. Hit the sub button. Make sure you're still subbed, because sometimes YouTube, they're up to shenanigans. They are, so make sure you're still subbed. And this is pretty interesting. This is Leia's actually pushing Luke across the ravine because she did all this herself, or choking him.
I think she's holding on to him. I don't. Yes, because she's not slapping him and saving herself. Why isn't she holding on to the?
She's
grapple?
rescuing him. She's rescuing
from
him.
his back.
From his yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
She's rescuing him from himself. That's what she's going to do. So Zack Snyder, we'll talk about Star Wars first, and then we'll talk about this kind of backpedaling with Snyder Cut fans. This is like what they do: one interview with a big publication, and then it's the chum bucket.
Yeah.
All the journalists eat from that, the leftovers, and they write like 50 different articles about the same interview.
Hey, side note, I want to point out, which I'm not surprised by at all, Fantastic Four talks rumored to be happening with Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
I would be okay with that.
I think that would be a good choice.
I think that would be a good choice.
So I just happened to see that. I just wanted to point that out.
They're probably waiting for Quiet Place 2 to come out to be like, are they still bankable? But no, they actually, I think, would be a good choice. And they're actually in the right age, too. That's one thing that irritated me about the previous Fantastic Four movies is I thought that Reed and Sue, both versions of them were too young, especially the last one. Like, that kid was way too young to be Reed Richards.
They young them down the whole way across the board.
Oh, yeah. Because he was always, he's got gray on the side.
I guess the word is to age them down, but I haven't had enough caffeine, so I younged them.
Younged them? They younged them?
They younged them down.
That sounds like something they do on Twitter.
I younged them.
Oh,
That's not something you get arrested for.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Zack Snyder would love to make a Star Wars movie. He doesn't think he'd survive it. I think he sounds like he's about done with studios, honestly. I mean, all this drama with Warner Brothers, too. If I were Zack Snyder, I'd be like, yeah, let's just go like crowdfund a movie or something and make up something new.
Yeah, but now that's why he's trying to backpedal so he can crowdfund, because I think he'd take a lot of people off.
Pissed off the fans, yeah. So Snyder says he'd love to direct a Star Wars movie, though he's not sure he would survive it. This is what he said. Where it gets difficult is when you take a director with a personal point of view and ask him to participate in a thing that is not asking for that. The journeyman filmmaker, there are a lot of them, and they're good. I just happen to have a specific point of view. Grimdark is his point of view. The lesson I've learned is it's much easier for me as a filmmaker to create a world and invite you into it, as opposed to me saying, let me put a cog in your wheel.
Well, they tried that with Rian Johnson, and he didn't just put a cog in the wheel. He put gum and tar and a lot of other things into the wheel.
Yeah, there's a lot of sticky stuff inside of Star Wars after Rian Johnson got done with it. I'd love to make a Star Wars movie. I know a lot about it, but I don't think I would survive it. For a second, let's look at this as if it were a real possibility. It's like, let's just pretend that Zack Snyder actually has a chance. It would never happen because he seems like he's very determined to make his movie his way. And I guarantee you he would come in and butt heads with Kathleen Kennedy. And I'm going to be completely blunt. He's a straight white guy. They're not going to put him. They're not going to hire him.
They have their lot of them out on the story group.
Yeah.
They have a couple.
They have like two.
Yeah.
Well, Jon Favreau. You got Jon Favreau.
There you go. Yeah.
They're not gonna do it. They said, it's worth noting that during the Disney era, Lucasfilm has had issues with directors Colin Trevorrow, Phil Lord, and Chris Miller on Solo. Next up is Rogue Squadron with Patty Jenkins, Taika Waititi. So I gotta wonder if Patty or Taika are going to get gone.
No, they're not even mentioning though. Lucasfilm has had issues with directors. They're putting the trouble on the directors. They're making it sound like the directors were trouble. I don't think it was the directors.
No.
Because if it was one person, okay, maybe there was an issue. But it keeps happening, which sounds to me like the person at fault would be KK.
Yeah, it's funny. Even blogs that defend Kathleen Kennedy are like, well, she is kind of the common denominator. And it is kind of weird that all of these directors can go work someplace else and not have the problems they have at Lucasfilm.
So, but this person, this writer tries to put the onus on the directors. I don't think it was them.
Nope. This is Snyder's nice way of saying there's no way in hell I am working with Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. Because he's probably watching what's going down with Jon Favreau too, and he's like, screw that. I guarantee it was her meddling that got Gina Carano gone. I guarantee, look at how the story group is trying to, basically throw shade at, it's like, it does feel like a civil war. It's a period of civil war.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking we would have had a good Star Wars film too if it weren't for you meddling. And then I couldn't figure out what to put there without sounding insulting because I have words, but I won't use them.
Yeah. All right. So this is the other part of the video. This is interesting too. And again, this is from the same interview. Chum Bucket.
They do that.
Yeah, so IndieWire, Zack Snyder worried that Warner Brothers would sue and silence me for supporting Snyder Cut fans. Now, this would explain why he was so damn nervous when he
started out. He didn't even have a chance to breathe. It's like, by the way, I'm going to mention that, I want to, say that we, but I forgot how he worded it.
Hate and hate's bad and I'm not part of this group.
And hate.
And disclaimer, because my lawyer and the PR person said.
I think it's more the PR person, but I just love how, now, I was so worried they were going to sue me because I support, so now he's trying to say that, well, I did it, but I was so worried I was going to get sued for supporting them. But this is after Warner Brothers flat out said under no circumstances was he getting his Snyderverse trilogy. Was it another trilogy or something or whatever?
They wanted to continue things in the Snyderverse because I guess Flash, they're talking they're going to retcon the whole damn thing.
Of course they are.
But they were going to do another couple of Justice League movies.
Right. So he was going to get that trilogy or whatever.
Yeah.
So, till that was, they basically dangled him around to get what they wanted, and then they cut him loose. But in the meantime, to appease Warner Brothers, because he thought he was going to get a biscuit or a cookie, and he kind of threw everybody under the bus to appease them. And
now they threw him under the bus. Now he's throwing Warner Brothers under the bus.
Now he's like, I'm back, guys. I seriously love you. I didn't mean any of that stuff.
So when I crowdfund a movie,
you'll give me money.
You'll give me money.
I think it was just a really, really difficult situation. I mean, I heard what he said. It sounded to me like a prepared statement that he was told he had to say.
It did.
That's not surprising because they're so damn afraid of being sued all the time, these studios and stuff. So I think that was blown out of proportion. But it is kind of funny that now after he's not getting his trilogy here, he comes back like, but I was afraid I was going to get sued because I didn't want to throw those fans under the bus.
Well, he kind of does still throw them under the bus.
Does
Yeah, this is kind of a weird statement. I'd almost need to like see him say it in person to get a vibe for the inflection here. But he said, yeah, he was worried that Warner would not be happy with him. So this is weird. Okay, so Warner's like, let's release the Snyder Cut, but let's not have Zack Snyder interact with any of the fans that pushed for this. That makes no sense.
That would make no sense.
That literally makes no sense because their whole marketing thing with this was like, guys, we're listening, we're giving it to you. Just don't talk to Zack Snyder. You know?
Well, it was weird though because when they greenlit that and gave it back to him, that was also around the time they were running the commercials. Like we have the redheads.
Yes.
And the car animation and stuff. It was
gave
like,
us a box.
It was
They
funny.
gave us two
Well, I'll tell you
boxes.
what, it was weird because the stuff they were bringing up in their advertising things were stuff we've pointed out.
Yes.
And then we were actually getting boxes from them. I'm sure you don't get them now. But I think that it's changed overseers since then.
Yeah, I think with all the consolidation stuff going on at Warner Media right now, whoever was in charge of their PR when they greenlit the Snyder Cut and they had the redhead campaign, all this other stuff when they launched HBO Max, it does not seem like it's the same person that's in charge now or same people that's in charge. Yeah, they were even reaching out to us, which is weird because we weren't really released the Snyder Cut fans. We didn't really have a dog in it, but they were like, hey, we see you cover animation stuff. Do you want a box of stuff?
And we were fair.
Yeah, we were very fair.
We always try to be fair.
We actually do watch HBO Max quite a bit. Squid King especially. He likes it. And,
Okay, but tell me what he said that you
All
said
right.
that maybe he's still like throwing people under the bus.
Yeah,
He's just
so-
throwing everybody under the bus and you get thrown under the bus and you get thrown under the bus.
he said, I was more worried the studio would sue me. Do something to silence me, Snyder said about his decision to lend vocal support to the Snyder Cut fans.
Well, that would be really stupid on the studio side.
It would be incredibly stupid. The community has become a poster child in the media for toxic fandom.
Okay, here's the key to that. The community has become a poster child in the media. The media runs with anything and paints anyone. The media was pissed. Media was pissed that they got the release of Snyder Cut. They were downright pissed that the fans even got there. Didn't matter if you behaved badly or not. You were automatically painted as toxic because the media said so. If you don't agree with their take on something, they go around labeling you, bullying you, calling you names. You might have had nothing to do with it, but they're still going to label you as toxic because you supported it. And this whole thing can be summed up by the media said.
The media. Snyder said he stayed focused on its activism above all else. This is how he got through it. Here's the reality, he said. That fandom raised $750,000 for suicide prevention and mental health awareness. Now, for those who don't know, unfortunately, Zack Snyder's daughter died, committed suicide during the production of Justice League, which is why we got the Joss Whedon version. Horrible, horrible thing for anybody to go through. I can't imagine as a parent having to go through that. It's terrible. And that is why things happen the way they happen.
But if they were so toxic and terrible, why would they give that kind of money and help,
So they've saved lives, okay? That's a fact. But on the other hand, was it fun to provoke them for a clickable thing? Yes. And they were an easy target. But they continue to raise money. There are not a lot of fan communities whose primary objective, other than seeing work of a guy they like, realize their other main thing was to bring awareness to mental health and suicide prevention. For me, it's kind of hard to be mad at them. So I don't know if he's talking about the media writing all these hit pieces about the fans.
Well, I think it sounds like that for a clickable thing.
Yeah.
Or does he mean the videos?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it sounds to me like overall he's like, these guys did good, leave them alone. But he's also like, yeah, it's probably fun for the media to mess with them because, they get clicks. They were. It's the same with the Star Wars fans.
Yeah, the media, you can seriously, I think, bring all this toxicity and all this bullshit in fandoms and all the splits and divisions and all that. You can pretty much just boil it down to the media. Yeah. So when these people are out there like talking about toxic and shitty people, look no further than these media outlet bloggers who keep deliberately trying to incite things. And even when there's nothing there, you see them make articles to try to cause issues. We saw it with the She-Ra thing. People just said, I didn't like the costume. And that led to, oh my God, you're all toxic misogynists. And they all ran with it. I mean, we see it with Star Wars. We saw it with Ghostbusters 2016. Why do we need another Ghostbusters movie? I think that's dumb. You hate women. It's just, it's the media. Because it's a lot of these people are not actual journalists. They're journalists in quotes. They're activists masquerading as journalists, using the platform to sit and scream and preach at everybody else. And they're using it to paint who they don't like with a broad brush.
Oh, and I know what would happen. He probably knows this too. Like if he did Star Wars, hypothetically speaking, you've got Zack Snyder doing Star Wars. Oh my God, it's the intersection of the toxic Star Wars fans and the Snyder Cut fans, and they're all coming together. And oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. We're gonna write hit piece after hit piece after hit piece.
And the kicker is, like, I did a story the other day on Pirates and Princesses, which is my Disney blog, and I explained about being a female Star Wars fan, and I'll tell you what, until the Disney sequel trilogy came out, I never had the bullying, toxicity, bullshit, gatekeeping, all that crap that I had since then. And I'm thinking of other fandoms I've been a part of. It's just been recently, I think 2015, 16 on is when it got really bad. And you really can't just, if you follow the threads, it goes back to the media.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, with so many things, and fan media has changed. We've talked about this before, and this is kind of an ongoing thread in our own channel. Is in the last 5 to 8 years, pop culture news blogs went from being about being by the fans for the fans to being used by studios and activists to attack fandoms.
Yeah, that's something else. If you look at some of these people that wrote these stories, you see who owns the blogs. It is actually the studios. And then we had the Joker, and it was funny because it was a Joker film. The fans backed it. The fans went out to the movies and supported it. Warner Brother told the media to shut up.
Yeah, and they did. They doubled down on that. Actually, they had their marketing lady. I can't remember her name off.
But they had success then. Because they didn't take their shit, because they're trying to paint them negatively when they weren't doing something negatively. Welcome to the club, Warner Brothers. They've been doing it to people like us for years.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how much you try to appease them. You think that, a lot of times these people, one, they don't buy your product. Look who crashed the servers. It was the Snyder Cut fans that crashed the servers.
Look who went to the film for the Joker. It wasn't the media.
Yeah.
They were pissed because you wouldn't give them, let them shit all over you and then tell them thank you for it.
Yeah, we actually, gave Warner props for Grown Up Hair and telling the media to go piss off because they were trying to attack Joaquin Phoenix. He got so pissed off, he walked down the interview because he's like, this has nothing to do. They're trying to basically say, hey, the Joker's going to incite violence and there's going to be all kinds of horrible things go on because of the Joker. And nothing happened. The opening weekend came and went and nothing happened. Mm-hmm. And, but Joaquin Phoenix was like, what the hell? Basically, you're blaming me. His point of view is probably you're blaming me for something, one, that hasn't happened yet. And two, you're just assuming that's what this movie is going to cut. And that's not.
That's what the media does. They try to find something like we saw, that one incident recently, which I don't want to talk about too much, but the one guy did something horrible. And because he was on a brony board, it's because the bronies are toxic. And it's like the media is just garbage. And the sooner people like Snyder and these other, directors and stuff figure that out, the better off everyone's going to be.
Yeah, I think more directors. I think they're going to. I think it feels to me like the tide is kind of turning. I mean, we're seeing a lot of the media outlets that cause the most trouble are running out of money.
Good.
BuzzFeed and Vice and
shut them down.
Vox and. Yeah,
I'm agreeing with you. They're causing trouble, and the thing is, they do it on purpose because they're trying to get clicks, and it's just stupid. And I'm just tired of having to fight these battles because these people are just constantly. If you don't like something, it's because you're isophobe, not because maybe it was a shitty product. Here's an idea, Hollywood, and in these studios and these people like Snyder. You make good things and make good characters, and this happen to be diverse, and you know what? People are going to come.
Yeah.
And as far as toxicity, there's always going to be people that are toxic. I mean, I'm not going to say there never were because that'd be a lie. But it's not on one side only. I've seen just as much, actually sometimes more, usually more, toxicity and nastiness and bullcrap from the far left as I've seen from the far, these far right people they always want to blame everything on. I actually would say I'd see it more on the left. And I always tend to lean left. So it's just, I'm just tired of it. I'm just so sick and tired of it. I'm so sick of the gatekeeping and the bullshit. I'm just,
Yeah, we shouldn't be having to make videos like this. I mean, it's just like every day. But it does feel like people in general are getting tired of this. It feels like some of these sites that have been the perpetrators of all of this drama are winding down.
Good.
You go there and it seems like the hits are down. We track Alexa and we track, social mentions and stuff like that in some of these places. And then, of course, you see the headlines. BuzzFeed's running out of money. Vice is running out of money. Gizmodo's running out of money.
Learn to code.
Vox is running out of money. They're all running out of money. And they're running out of money. They're trying to say is, because, the way the economy is right now, people are...
Well, crap, everybody's at home and they're doing stuff on the internet. That's where everybody is because, more people are going back to work now. But when this is going down was last year, a lot of it, the year before.
Yeah, they're probably telling their venture capitalists that, our ship's going to come in or whatever. Or the reason that we're failing isn't because we're not bringing the views anymore because people have checked out. The reason that we're failing is because the ad rates are down, which is actually not true. I can tell you that the ad rates haven't dropped. They've dropped a little bit, but they haven't dropped that much. Not in, the course of a year. I think it's just that their traffic's down. So when they're going to their venture capital buddies and they're like, hey, I know our ad revenue is only a quarter of what it was, but it is because, the ad rates are down. It's like, no, it's because your traffic is down.
And if a couple of years ago, they probably could have course corrected and just went back to appealing to everybody and just trying to stay as close to being a fan site as they could have, and they would have survived it. But they didn't. Instead, because they had these activists in there that they put in because they work cheap. So, they could, now it's too late. You can't go back. Some of them have tried to go back, as I've noticed. They're trying to be more even keeled fan blogs. It's too late.
It's too late. I mean, look at the travesty that Nerdist actually used to be pretty okay. Mm-hmm. And then, he sold it and then Legendary bought it and then they put a bunch of people and then they had to lay a bunch of people off. They can't crack YouTube. Most of these news outlets can't crack YouTube. They can't crack video and people are just checking out.
Yeah.
So there we go. You get what to quote the Joker, get what you fucking deserve. You do.
Anyway, you can wrap it up.
I'm going to wrap this up.
All right.
So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.